Hi guys, it's Kate here. I'm presenting tonight to the Sydney Professional Accounting Group. So if you're a business owner or a professional accountant who'd like to know if your accounts are real, have a look. You might find some takeouts that can either help your clients or your business perform better financially. Stay tuned, and if you've got any questions, shoot me a message. Talk soon. Hi everyone, my name is Kate. For those of you who haven't met me before, I'm a financial leadership and performance coach, which is just a fancy way to say I work with business owners and I try to get them to work with you guys better. And I try to help them to understand what a balance sheet actually is and to build assets instead of chasing revenue streams. I can talk underwater with a mouth full of marbles, and as much as I love the dulcet tones of my own voice, I'd much rather have a chat collectively than listen to my own voice talk at you for an hour, which is boring, and I don't really do boring, but I will if I have to. Please don't make me have to, because then I will be sad. Okay? So tonight's topic, ostensibly, is are your accounts real? Which I was like, read the topic and went, right. So normally I would actually sort of use this topic in a business founder owner context. And to give you a little bit more context there, my clients are generally $1 to $10 million. They've gotten past startup, work out what we're doing phase. And we have to shift mindsets, right? When we move from $1 to $5 million, it's a completely different business operation than getting from 0 to 1. We can no longer do everything ourselves. We actually have to start looking at a balance sheet. We have to start to understand financials at that point. And when I start to talk to business owners, I talk to them about hats, because hats are cool. I like hats. It's not a hat day today, but hats are good. And in business, and we all have these hats, before I sort of get into hats, who runs a business here? Who's a business owner here? And I paid a couple of you. Yeah. Right. Cool. And do you all work with business owners and small businesses in your firms? You've got small business clients. Yeah. Cool. Everybody in business wears one of these three hats, and probably all of these hats in different ways and at different times, okay? And technicians are people who get stuff done. They do the doing. Managers get the people doing the doing to get stuff done in the right way and in the right direction. And the leaders set that direction for the managers to get the stuff doing the doing done. Yeah? And they're the three different hats that we wear in each pillar of our business. And those pillars, marketing, sales, product, operations, people, finance, broadly speaking. And when I talk to business owners about that, I stand up in a room and I go, so, where do you think your accountant sits? And they all sort of go, oh, that's a really good question. And it is a really, really good question for you guys to consider. Because what I tell business owners from a leadership perspective is you guys are technicians, you do stuff. Now, I will also caveat all of this with broad generalizations are key. And I'm not suggesting that you are all technicians or that you all act like technicians. So just bear with me for a minute. When I'm talking to a business owner, I'm like, your accountants, your bookkeepers, your BAS agents, they do things. They prepare your tax returns. They're preparing your financials, right? They are the doers. And I said, so if they're the doers, who's leading this boat, right? Who is the boss of this? And we go, And there's this amazing culture in small business where we hire a bookkeeper or an accountant or a BAS agent, and then we just let them go. We don't check their work, don't set KPIs, ignore the fuck out of you basically, and if you're lucky if you can get them to respond to an email. Feeling the vibe? Anybody experienced the whole let go thing? Signed on the dotted line and like you're just left sort of floating there, right? So business owners make no other hire, like they hire an accounting professional or technician of any kind. There is no other hire that they'll make. They can't even hire a lawyer and let them go. They have to instruct a lawyer, all right? They're not allowed. But they'll hire us and they will let us go. They don't check, they don't care. They have abdicated financial leadership and financial management and financial technician work to accountants, bookkeepers, BAS agents, VAs offshore, which is terrifying, right? They just abdicate the whole lot of that. There is no delegate in this. There is no checking, there is no KPI, there is no framework. That's delegation. They abdicate. And so you guys are on the receiving end of this lack of management and lack of leadership. So just going to set that framework up for you, because it's actually pertinent, and I'd like you to just think about it and let it sit in the back of your mind, because it's actually not their fault as business owners, right? As a business owner, you're told to get a good accountant, tick, and go sell more shit, right? Get a good accountant, go sell stuff. Awesome. Business is sorted out. Accepting the fact that accounting is a very broad term, isn't it? Who actually provides advisory services in the room? Not surprised. Okay. Who provides tax services? Primarily. Right. Who does a bit of both? Who's super clear in their communication about what those two things are when they're talking to a new client? Yeah. So business owners see the word accounting, and guess what they read that word to mean? Advisory. Guess what the CPA and the CA let businesses believe that word means? They let them believe it means advisory. So you've got all these little business owners running around there that think the word accounting means accounting. And you guys know that that's not true, right? But I don't know that we, as a profession, by the way, I'm not an accountant. I'm a very good one, but I'm not one, right? Never went to uni. Someone let me be a BAS agent once, but only because I asked nicely. I'm technically qualified to run hotels.
You're smart.
Yes. But just so that you know that I'm not one. But they run around thinking that, you know, you guys are all the same, but accounting is a very, very broad word, and I don't think that we do a very good job of communicating that to the business community. So there's this great big delta between the word accounting and why didn't my accountant tell me that, which is the business owner's experience. So financial leadership and performance coaching is basically, part of it is bridging that delta. So I'm going to let you sit with that, because are your accounts real is actually part of that whole show. So what does real actually mean? This guy's real. I'm real, baby. Right? He's a sparkly unicorn. A tax return is a real service. Yeah? It's a valuable service. I would rather stick hot forks in my eyes than process a tax return. Honestly, I wouldn't know where to start. I mean, I could probably work it out, to be fair. I've seen a lot, but I do not want to. I love you guys. I have a tax agency. I have a professional services firm. I have lovely, beautiful CPAs that work for me, and I love them very, 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 very much, because I don't want to. But you know, what I see on the flip side, coming from mid-tier firms, occasionally coming from top-tier firms, but often coming from our third-tier firms, is beautifully prepared tax returns and not worth the paper that they're written on in terms of financial statements. And when I say not worth the paper they're written on, I'm not beating up on you guys. Again, love, because tax returns are not my jam. Tax advice, also not my jam. I had to go read through Div 86 again the other day to try to get it straight in my head again, to help a client understand his balance sheet, right? Not my jam. Really important part of business advisory, but it doesn't make it real if you're only doing tax. And so this is all about your business clients. It's obviously not about personal clients, if you'd missed that little part. So are your accounts real? Is your service to your business clients real? Of course it is. You're doing really great tax returns. You're providing really good tax advice. But is that the gambit? Is that the whole thing? And is that actually real from your business client's perspective? Going back to that consideration of what does accounting mean? What is real accounting advice from your business client's perspective? So if you then go, okay, I've done a really good tax return and I've prepared a set of financial statements. So what does real then mean for my business clients? And I'm not here to tell you anything you already know, like you already know this stuff. But I'd like you to consider it in terms of how you communicate and in terms of what services you could offer to your business clients where they go, oh, accounting isn't just accounting, and now I understand why I might actually be quietly dissatisfied or struggling to understand the value or struggling to quietly resent that accounting bill because I don't know why I'm paying it and I don't know what's gone into it, and really it's just a cost sink to keep the tax man happy.
Do you think that accountants do not express their value proposition well, or let alone
Absolutely.
don't have a value proposition?
I know that they don't, because I'm at the other end, I'm coaching your clients. Yeah? So I do believe that. And again, this is a broad generalisation. I haven't discussed your practice or your product offering with you individually. But as a whole, I believe clients do not express their value proposition, even if they've considered their value proposition. They just see this word accounting. Business owners see this word accounting. They're not the same thing for each party, right? You go accounting, I'm a tax agent. I'm a specialist in estate planning. I am really, really good at trust stuff, or whatever bucket you want to play in or that you specialise in. Business owners, you're just accountants, mate. Why didn't my accountant tell me that, mate, if I had $1? We probably might be doing this. We'd be doing it in the Caribbean somewhere, right, with the flamingos. Why didn't my accountant tell me that? The answer is, you didn't bloody ask, right? But they didn't ask because they didn't know to ask, because accounting is an assumed role. If you go back 60 years and a bit, your accountant was your financial advisor, your estate planner, your succession planner, your family advisor. The accountant was legitimately all things. Your business advisor. The accountant was a really well-rounded port of call as a professional. But you come now, and accountancy is so specialised. You would all have referral partners, right, for the thing that you don't do so well but your mate down the road does? I certainly do. I don't do lawyers. Not my jam. I have a friend who does lawyers, so I send lawyers to her. Right? So it's so specialised now. Tax is like 5% of the whole accounting thing for a business, I reckon. It's really important to get it right, but it's not the gambit. Right? And taxes last year. Tax happens last year. I'm a business owner. What's happening 90 days next year for my business? I don't want to know about last year. I want to know what I need to pay. Right? But next year's my focus. I'm a business owner. I'm focused forward. And taxes backwards. So yeah, I do believe that. So very, very quickly, because we can then actually have some conversation and discussion about how to achieve these things, right? And just a reminder again, conversation is good. Me talking at you is boring. Peter, I knew you'd come through, buddy.
You know, I had a client recently where I sat her down and said, listen, you've got to trust. I've got to do client agent banking. And I basically just said to her, I can try and explain it to you, but you won't understand. And don't shoot the messenger, me. But it took 3 hours. She even said to me halfway through, because because I was trying to get through to the tax office and she said to me, "What do these people do at the tax office?" I said, "That's what I ask every day."
That's great. It's
You know?
legit great question.
A perfect question by the client, but what I wanted her to feel when we sat there, copious cups of coffee, we went right through it in 3 hours. But the problem is, we do a lot of compliance work, even though everyone keeps saying, "Oh, compliance is gone, just do advisory." That is bullshit.
It's totally bullshit.
It is bullshit, because the ATO will jump on you if you don't get that BAS in on time, if you don't get that, IAS in, if you don't do this, you don't do that. They don't get it. They really don't get it. And let's be honest, do they need to get it? You don't go to the brain surgeon, ask the brain surgeon, "Oh, listen, I'll tell you what, I Googled this, I'll do this half of the brain and you do that half, and I'll save some money and, we'll be all better." No, bullshit. I'm sorry. It's like GST. You know when GST came in?
I do remember. I'm that old,
2000?
Pete. Yep.
25 years ago.
I was around.
Right? You think it's any better now than what it was then?
No.
A lot more legislation, this big. When I started tax was that big. Half an inch thick, yeah. Anyway, you try to explain GST to them, forget it. Forget it. I told the tax office and I told everyone, including clients, I've got to teach you to become a brain surgeon overnight, operate on yourself with a sharp scalpel under general anaesthetic. What's going to happen? You're going to cut your throat. And they're still cutting their throat. So I understand what you're saying, but every client's different. So you've got to have, all of us have to have those soft skills to be able to assess the client and decide how we're going to work with the client to be able to make them understand what why we're valuable. It's not easy, believe me.
I 100% agree with both statements, or all three statements actually. So compliance is not dead and it's not going to disappear tomorrow, but I think it will at some point. Or it'll become minimised in terms of something that you can do and charge for.
Well, we do charge for it, but I mean, a lot of people don't see the value in it.
No, and I get it. I get it, right? Well, you're just paying to keep the taxman happy. It's a very anti-Australian culture right there. The point though is, you're talking to a business owner, they're not going to understand GST, nor are they going to understand Div 86, ever. I don't know that I'm ever going to be fair. That's okay, you need to get them through that the best you can. But they also are like, well, I want to know about how my business is going to perform. And we have this dichotomy where, like, if we're preparing financials on a tax basis, we are accelerating depreciation, we're ripping profit out of the financial statements, which is not real. It's not a real representation of how the business is performing. And then we're presenting that to a client and going, well, here you are. And so the client makes decisions based on that, and they're still clueless because you haven't told them the difference between a set of management reports and a set of tax reports. Who presents both to their clients? Why don't we present both? You said you did advisory? So why aren't presenting management?
Advisory isn't financial advice, no.
Right, no, I meant
advice.
accounting and business advisory services.
Look, I did 30 years in corporate, right?
Yeah, so you've got a different perspective.
I had an absolutely different perspective to my fellow directors who all spent their time in chartered and public practice, right? And I'll tell you quite honestly, they have no idea about commercial. That's why they come to me, and we look at it from a commercial aspect, and we say, right, we're not going to do all this crap. This is the way we're going to operate with this client. And basically, I'll tell you how I run it. I talk to them and say, what have we got in the bank? Oh, we've got some money. How did that get there? I know. And let me tell you, I only want to look at cash. Cash is king in small business. I'm not interested in all the bullshit that goes on with credits and accruals and adjustments, and they're not interested in that. They don't want to know that. Because if you go in and say, right, your accounting profit is zilch, because I've just deducted everything. But actually, your tax profit is this. How did that happen? Oh, God, if I have to tell you the add-backs, the adjustments, the this, the that, I just look at cash. And then I say, leave the tax to me. This is the bill you've got to pay. Let's move on. Now, that's my approach, right? Mm-hmm. And I do have some clients that say, I sit with a doctor and I try to explain what I've done with the bucket company, and he said, Peter, for God's sake, it goes in one ear, out the other. Just tell me how much I've got to pay, give me a fee, I'll pay that. No. Now, that's a good client. For me, that's a great client. They're not all like that.
No,
They're not all like that. And
I
this
would
is
imagine not.
And this is the problem. We all have this issue. We all have different clients, and we have to treat each client with kid gloves in the way that they want to be treated. And that's all I say to my team. You know.
I agree. I have a slightly different approach. So bear with me on that. I think there is such a focus on tax accounting, just generally speaking. So so my perspective is coming from coaching business owners, right? And they come to me and they are always dissatisfied with the accountant. And it's the why hasn't my accountant showed me this? Why has my accountant presented these financial statements when, Kate, you've just shown me they're materially fucking wrong, right? Now that's wrong from a business perspective. So I'm not saying it's wrong because there's wrong, like there's a unicorn, he's really real, right? But then he's like, is he real? Like, unicorns are totally real, just saying. But are they? And so when I say, are your accounts real? Are they real for the business? So let's just run through this list. Pete, I'll come back to you on the cash thing. I don't treat any of my clients on a cash basis. I wipe that out immediately.
Why?
Because it's not real. Because profit, who's got the profit first? Please tell me there's no profit first accountants in the room. Excellent, that's good. We will not have fisticuffs tonight. Good.
What is a profit first account?
Profit First is a book written, by, what's his face? Someone in the US. It's all about cash accounting. It's about you put this aside for profit and this aside for this and this aside for that, and then you have 60,000 bank accounts, and then you put this in here and this in here and this in here and this in here, and that's how you run your business.
Sorry, can I just say, it worked for Henry Ford beautifully. At midnight, at the end of the financial year, everybody was up and counted how much money he had. That was it, cash only. Henry Ford made an empire based on his cash position each year, and he didn't care about it the rest of the year. He was innovating and building cars. He just said, what's my cash position at the end of the year? And away we go.
Absolutely. Let me tell you why I don't like this profit first approach. When you start siphoning preset amounts of cash into different bank accounts, we start to lose all the efficiency we gain from automating financial operations. So before I started coaching, I designed operational systems. So business process design is my sort of foundation. Okay. And then when we start, even with all of the bank rules and that we start putting money, so we start having to make decisions between bank accounts. So all of a sudden, from a technician's point of view, getting these reconciled, getting everything into the right bank accounts, we've all of a sudden got so many more decisions to make, even when it's automated. We've got so many more points of reference. So I'm losing automation and I'm losing efficiency in my processing of accounts. Then when I come to trying to educate a business owner around, okay, what are your assets? Basic balance sheet education. They're already so indoctrinated into this, but that's tax. And let's face it, we have such a simple taxation system. There's no direct, indirect. What about payroll tax? Well, didn't provision for that, didn't accrue for that. But it's just kicked in. Nobody had a check and balance for that. And so it all starts to come unstuck. I have rescued many businesses from this mindset of, if I just put it here, here, and here, and here, it'll all be fine. And then the lovely Pete comes on and he does his stuff and he goes, oh, well, here's your tax bill, but that's not the amount I provisioned for that. I don't believe that's effective. And please remember that I'm talking about 1 to 10 mil businesses. They're growing in that revenue stream. We're starting to come, like payroll tax sneaks up all of a sudden. That's why that cash approach at this level of business, where the margins become smaller, the economies of scale disappear. You've got these little plateaus between economies of scale when you're growing like that. You always have to lose and then win, and then lose and then win. 3 business margins. That's when that falls over. I'm not saying, I actually, to be fair, I got a lot out of the Profit First book in terms of concept. One of the concepts I got, I will show you later, it's called an MVP model that I didn't get directly from the book, but it gave me the idea for it. So I really appreciated the book for what it was. I think it probably applies very well in the US, where they have a very simple tax system in terms of federal tax. State tax, nightmare, don't do it, hate it. I have a few clients over there, it's a true mess. But when you get to federal, it's for a small business, again, caveat, that's my paddle pool. It's very much a hand on heart, report what you report, and that's pretty simple. So we'll get to there. I think accrual accounting, and I'm not meaning complex accruals. I'm not meaning go to town with trying to move it around and make it better. I'm saying not cash accounting, not setting up all your zero bank rules and letting everything be as cash paid. I'm saying document-based, really robust business systems using Dext, Squirrel Street, any of the document process, HubSpot if you have to, any of the basic business process like document processing. So accrual accounting from a very basic perspective, making sure your business owners collecting a document, throwing it through whatever document processing you have recommended because you're a trusted advisor and you're doing more than a tax return. So Dext is probably the most common one that you guys would recommend, right? So that document is putting the entry into the accounting platform. So not accrual accounting is to the nth degree. For my larger clients, they've hit $1 million, I'm actually running prepayment. So if you have an annual insurance bill, we're amortizing it over 12 months. Because it's important that they know what their monthly operating expenses are. We're jumping a little bit ahead, so I'll just quickly... So, real approach, the approach to real accounts. Are they timely? Are you talking to your clients all the time? If you're doing tax only, probably not. Does anyone have a quarterly meeting with a client? Pete probably does.
Trying to get monthly.
Trying to get to monthly. So I see most of my clients once a week. My smaller clients I might see once a month in the professional services firm, not my coaching business.
But they do get sensitive. How much is it going to cost me? I said, I'll charge you a fixed fee, simple, but unfortunately I burn a little bit of time because I have to pre-prepare, you know?
Yeah.
But that's okay.
People will always pay for what they perceive to be valuable.
Correct.
Always. So this is again the communication around value. Do they see a tax return as valuable?
Nah.
No.
Generally not.
No.
Yeah. Do they see reducing their tax return as valuable? Yeah. Until they get stung next year because they can't get financed because you've strapped all the profit out. Yeah. I see that a lot. And again, this is probably a really high quality room. But you would be aware that there are lower quality professionals out there.
No, I don't believe that.
So timely, like getting in front of your clients, even if it was every 6 months, who has a schedule that makes tax planning happen, makes it happen before the clients come and knock on the door? You'd all have that, right? You'd all knock on the door and go, it's March.
Where it's necessary.
It's March, we need to just at least have a conversation about what we need to do before it's June. Yeah. If you could make that twice a year, how's your business going? Have you thought about your margins this year? How's, even that simple phone call, just to check in, hello, I care. That can make the difference, right? Profit, business focused. So this whole tax thing can be a little bit about reducing profit. I stand in front of the room with business owners and I go, what's your accountant's job? To reduce your tax bill. What's your job? To derive value for your stakeholders and yourself. How do they reduce your tax bill? They reduce profit and value for stakeholders. They're like, yeah, you think having
Sorry,
trouble?
are we having a fruit salad discussion? A tax return has a purpose.
Yep.
And management accounts have a purpose.
Yep.
If the client doesn't understand they're for two purposes, then that's the disconnect, or it seems so.
Yes.
To explain to them that
Correct.
there is management accounts, and if you want them prepared, this is the value proposition and this is what it's going to cost you.
But business owners don't know that.
But tell them.
Yes. I tell them all the time. It's like my job. I'm here to tell you guys, and again, this is not quite my topic, but are your accounts real? Are you communicating this to your clients? So this is my idea of a real approach to are your accounts real? So real accounts are timely, they're accrued, right? Yes, there are also tax accounts, but the real financial statements are not tax accounts. Yeah? I think it's a cruel world. I think it's also a cruel reconciled world. Coming back to the, I don't know how many balance sheets I have seen that do not have employer liabilities on them. Do you all insist on accruing annual leave liabilities, long service leave liabilities on a contingent basis? Of course it's not required. You don't need it for a tax return.
No.
Of course not.
Well, you do, but then you just got to add it back and take it out.
For sure. That's my
Pain in
point.
the butt.
You've absolutely made my point. Absolutely made my point. It's not required. The law doesn't say you have to. How many business owners I've put through a lick in the last couple of years who just did not know what the value of their leave liability was? And that's the thing that's done. And so I would encourage you all to insist. I've had stand-up arguments with accountants. They're just a little business, we don't need to put it on the balance sheet. I've had literally fisticuff type arguments about this, and I'm getting from you guys, you don't need to do it. So you absolutely do. It is not a real balance sheet if it's not there. It's not real.
The only problem is, you know, I mean, we got trained to accrue, we got trained to do the accounts, basically to allow for everything so that, well, the profit and loss is what you traded.
Yep.
The balance sheet is just a window at a point in time. Because your liability is going to move every day you pay payroll, and every day you do something, your liabilities are moving.
Yep.
And they've got to know that, you know, I got super to pay in 3 months, 1 month, or, you know, I got payroll tax to pay next month or the month after.
Yep.
So that's got to be accrued, because otherwise if you don't take it up, okay, that's our job. I try not to get them too involved in it because it's complex. But you've got to accrue for it, because what are you going to say to them? Oh shit, you had 100 grand in the bank. By the way, I've got to pay this and this and this, now you've only got 10 grand left. But you told me I had 100 grand in the bank. Be careful. Be careful.
And that's why I don't do cash accounting.
Yep.
So it's a cruel world. It's a cruel world. And
It's
it's not.
cruel world.
It's a cruel world. It's a cruel world, and if those leave liabilities aren't on your balance sheet, it's not real. And I say this with a fair bit of heat behind it, because of the business owners who I have had in SBRs, who I've had in liquidations, who I've seen lose their homes. Primarily because of leave liabilities that were not managed, because why didn't my accountant tell me that? Now, it's not your guys' fault. You guys, the broader profession, okay? They didn't ask, right? They're responsible for their own balance sheets. They should have bloody looked at their leave liabilities, right? The thing is, it wasn't there. It's not on the balance sheet. Those financial statements are not real. And I take, heat around that employer liability thing. That's in payroll, biggest internal operating risk of a business, yes? More or less in terms of personal liability, criminal liability. Fair Work Ombudsman, because that's a really simple piece of legislation right there. Right? If that leave liability, those employment liabilities aren't there on a contingent basis, this is not real. But it's not wrong, to your point, it doesn't have to be there. So you're not wrong, but it's not real. So it's a cruel world.
And I still think it's for its value. The client needs to understand what management accounts are about and what a tax return is about.
Sure.
And if they're not producing sensibly management accounts, then frankly they need to kick up the bum.
Sure.
And that would be the first thing. Show me your management accounts.
But why didn't my accountant tell me that?
Again, what's the structure within the business of who's running accounts, who's doing payroll, who's doing whatever,
Agreed.
and the process around it. But somebody needs to just tell them, guys, you need at least quarterly management accounts, whatever you want to do.
100%. We're actually on the same team here. I 100% agree with that. Someone should just tell them.
Yeah,
I'm on the hill, like shouting it from the hill, and my voice is only as loud as my voice can be. I'm on socials. I'm telling them all the time, but they come to me and they're like, "Why didn't my accountant tell me this?" Constantly, I hear it day in, day out. Why didn't my accountant tell me this? And it's probably not you guys in this room, right?
So, so you're out there undermining my ability.
Yeah, probably. probably.
No, but why doesn't the client, he said, well, why didn't my accountant tell me this? Are you saying that you've told him something that we didn't tell him, and then he's saying, why wasn't my accountant telling me this?
When
why don't you say to him, well, why don't you ask your bloody accountant?
So when they do come to me, my first response is, you didn't ask.
Yeah.
Always, my first response is, you didn't ask. And then we go back to the 3 hats. And then we go back to understanding the delta between what you think accounting is and what accountants think accounting is, and then understanding that there's like a lawyer for every flavour of law, and that there's an accountant for every flavour of accounting. And then we have that whole conversation, and they go, oh, right. And then I coach business owners to go and talk to their accountants, but I coach them over this.
Can I tell you why they won't come and talk to you? Precisely what happened to me today, or yesterday.
Yeah.
Client got a very vicious termination from a last job. And so I went to my colleague who's a HR lawyer, 50 years experience, and I said to her, why didn't you come and talk to me before all this happened? You knew it was coming. And she said, I didn't want to bother you, I didn't want to get any cost, I didn't want... They're worried about cost, they're worried about money. What's it going to cost me to have coffee tomorrow to bring my lawyer there? I said to her, nothing, I'm paying for the coffee, you don't have to pay me anything. I want you to sit and talk to him, because unless he talks to you, he can't put a case to fair work. So we've got to do it somehow. See, the problem is they're so frightened of dollars. They think, go to the account, oh, it's going to cost me a fortune.
Yeah.
That's something we as accountants have got to...
My LinkedIn profile says, milk your accountant's worth. And it's a bit of a pattern interrupt. It's designed to get people to pay attention, right? But the purpose is to get value from you guys. You guys are amazing. Like, you guys know so much. And none of your clients actually come and get the value from you that they can if they know how to ask. But this to me is just the key. It's about managing balance sheet for me. Managing a business is growing an asset. Your balance sheet is an articulation of that asset at all times if it's well managed. My professional services firm, the first thing we say is we manage balance sheets. That's it. And I still have to go through every month and go, every line, work paper, every line. That one hasn't got one. Why? Still, it's like pulling teeth. Profit statements. I have some opinions. You can disagree or agree. That's okay. Short, sharp, strategic. This is not actually an accountant thing. A lot of bookkeepers like to do this. There are some not great bookkeepers out there. You would all agree, I'm sure.
No great accounts either.
Yeah,
Sorry.
To be fair. Profit statements are a strategic document. And you guys actually get that mostly right. With some exceptions. I never ever see accountants splitting wages out so we can see cost of acquisition. Cost of acquisition being?
Materials, I assume.
Cost of acquisition is the cost of acquiring revenue. It's a really core business growth metric. So all of your marketing, advertising, marketing, business development, including wages as a percentage of revenue, is your cost of acquisition ratio.
Break your wages down to every department.
Yep,
Then
thank
you
you.
can analyse it on a percentage basis to turn up.
Appropriately split labour costs.
Yeah.
We need management, operations, field, advertising, marketing, business development, A&BD. So essential. Everything else, short, sharp, clean, simple. Bookkeepers try to make Xero and MYOB into operational financial accounting. It is not. Your ledgers are strategic. They are strategic financial accounting. Simpro, ClickUp, whatever you've got going on in your business environment, that is operational financial accounting. That is granular, detailed project management level. It should not be trying to be replicated in your
But if you want to,
order ledgers.
and some of the software does it well, but in my management experience, I used to break down every vehicle. I used to break down the fuel, the NRMA, because then, depending how you report it, you can get the detail, but generally managers didn't want to see, they just want to see no legal expenses.
Yep.
And you can do that, you can consolidate, bang, that's
Yep.
it.
There's again, this has come back all the way back to business process design and designing for efficiency, automation, and then minimizing errors. So we try to lean on peripheral software for detail and granular visibility where it's appropriate. This comes back down into business process design, which is very, very unique to every environment. Can you give me just a time watch?
6:40.
And we've got till
We've got plenty of time.
plenty of time? Awesome. Usually people are like hurrying me up, so it's good. So when I'm coaching these business owners, we look at profit statements. Because they're not accounting with accruals and they're usually not using an inventory management system, we can't get consistent and reliable gross profit or contribution margins.
So are they using a payroll system?
I would bloody hope so.
Yeah, well that's
Not always.
Because coming out of that payroll system, most of them calculate a leave accrual.
Yeah. Automatic.
They have to.
Yeah,
They have to.
but again,
But it's not
you
correct.
take that report
Yeah.
and you plug it into your account.
Yeah.
And it varies, month over month, week after week,
Correct.
fortnight
Yeah,
after
correct.
fortnight. So you take that number, if you need to add payroll tax, whatever you
Yeah.
need to add on as on cost,
Yeah.
you pick it up, you stick it in your accounts and you vary it and you tell them this is the account, you move it backwards and forwards for.
Look,
Yes.
it's
Nobody
hard
does
for
that.
that. It's, I can, look,
My professional services firm does it every week
Yeah, and that's fine.
because we
That's
have
a choice.
software that does it automatically. We don't actually post those journals, it just feeds through from the software.
correct. If it's an integrated payroll system,
Yeah.
that's what I read.
Yeah. And so what I'd encourage you to do is to, if you have business owners in this bracket, you say you can't use Xero payroll, you can't use my payroll, they're a huge risk to your business. I will not support either of them. Like we will not take a client if they will not move away from those payroll platforms. They just don't come to us. Because
Say that again, sorry, if they don't
We
use-
will not support Xero payroll, we will not
Why is
support
that?
Mara payroll because they're a risk. They're a huge risk.
Really?
What about
They are manual,
zero?
they do not do award
What about
interpretation.
QuickBooks?
That's Employment Hero payroll is
Yeah.
the back end of that, so
Yeah.
we accept it, but we
Yeah.
don't run QuickBooks, so it's
Intuit QuickBooks or
Yeah.
Red
Yeah.
QuickBooks?
Yeah.
Intuit QuickBooks.
Intuit,
Yeah, well,
they
we use
call it
that, we use
Yeah.
that.
So that has
But they use
KeyPay
Hero.
/
Yeah.
Employment Hero
That's right.
as the payroll engine.
Yeah.
If you can get them to release the award interpretation
Yeah.
into your environment, which you can sometimes and sometimes not, then that's fine. But we always use a standalone to ledger. We never have an integrated ledger payroll or just a security risk. And we will not support manual payroll. We will not support payroll that doesn't have integrated award interpretation. So for me,
Did you, I just want to ask you.
Of course.
You say you don't support all these ones, but what happened to that hero that embedded into it? Are they good?
yes,
Good, is that right?
yes,
Yeah.
automated.
Is it automatic?
Very good.
Yeah.
You
So
know
I
what-
run a payroll service as well.
You know what I'd love to do, if you let me? I'll just.
I don't know, Pete.
I'd love to sit and watch how you perform with these business people. I'll be the tea lady. I don't mind. I'll go around off the
You're very welcome.
I'm very
I'll invite you
keen-
to the next
Yeah.
next
I'm very
boardroom.
keen to see what you do with your business clients. I'm really interested because it's very interesting what you're doing. And I might even say to my business clients, hey, go and see this lady. Don't listen to me anymore. I'm not your trusted advisor. She is.
No, don't be silly. You are. I
No,
think
no,
you're a
but
very good
seriously,
one.
some do trust me, some don't. Well, I'm being honest.
Oh, the faces.
I'm being honest.
And they're
I got a
still
builder. You know what he said to me today? Oh, Pete, I've already calculated the tax. I just want you to confirm it. I said, oh, Jesus
Oh, lordy
Christ. And you
me.
know what? Every year he asked me, why did you adjust that? And what? I said, oh, please, Stuart, don't ask me, man. And why is my bill now 10 grand? Well, it's all those questions you asked, you know? No, seriously. He's very anal about his money, you know, and he processes his own ledger and he does his own thing. That's fine, but then he screws up the super. He screws it up.
Because
so
soup is
I'm
not a
keen-
big deal at all.
I'm
There's nothing
keen-
can go wrong there.
But I'm keen to sit very idly on the corner.
No, Pete, you're very welcome. We'll
I'm just
connect
intrigued.
later and I'll invite you to the
Do
next
you
control
have
room.
multiple clients or just one-on-one?
We run the control room, which is 6 to 8 people in the room. That's alive, and I do control room executive, which is one-on-one.
Where do you do that, if you don't mind telling me?
Different venues, just wherever the
Okay.
venues pop up. I was running at a beautiful place in Kalara, but that's gone now. So
Oh, what a
I'm
bummer.
looking for a new venue.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, that's a very new program, the group program. The executive been's going
That's good.
for quite a while.
Mm.
But yeah, back to the payroll thing, because Employment Hero payroll, it's just the best option at that price point. It's very, very cheap for what it is like, and it's because it's automated, it has the award interpretation, we can build all of the logic sets into the back of it, and it automates all of that accounting work. Including the leave accruals on a contingent basis. So as you hit 5 years, then it will put the long service leave up onto the balance sheet.
Yeah,
So
but it's sitting in the background now.
it sits in the background.
But you
Yeah.
know what they call it's called, what is called domestic something.
They're quite a lot
It
now.
start to go on, you know, like when you run that payroll. And then my client, the secretaries, always look at the payslip. Tell me what's this? It's called domestic, whatever. You know, I don't know how to turn that one off.
Domestic.
Yeah,
There are a lot.
apparently, if you run QuickBooks or in Herald,
Mm.
embedded in there, so they accrue your leave, your sick
Yeah.
leave, whatever they call personal leave,
Yeah.
and then they got this domestic violence, whatever.
Is it another form of leave?
It is.
It's another
It's
form.
another form of
It's
leave.
another
I
form
know,
of
but it's
leave.
just
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it
There are
also,
so many times.
No, the thing is, you have to be punched by your partner and come to work and say, sorry, can I take my
domestic violence leave.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh, domestic violence.
Yeah,
Ah,
you know what I mean.
yeah.
Gotcha.
Sure.
So yeah,
That's
but
what they got,
this
they can't
automatically
now.
accrues, and
Yeah.
then so it's all sort of part of it.
It's amazing.
But when
It's crazy.
when I see the profit statements,
Really?
and I'd encourage you when you're like producing these profit statements to have, you know, if your gross margins are up and down across the months, well, that's no good, because reliable and consistent is predictable, which means all of a sudden we can start looking forward
But
instead
that's-
of backwards.
But that's exactly where your prepayments and accruals come. If you're going to run monthly,
Correct.
you need to make those adjustments
Which
to
is-
get the equilibrium.
Correct,
You
which
know?
is why it's a cruel world, Pete.
It is
That's
a cruel
why.
world, Yeah.
Now, so when I'm coaching clients, we should step into that advisory space and we stop doing tax and we start looking forward and we go, well, how's this model going to perform over the next 6 months and 12 months? I need to know what that GP is, and if I can't see, because this month it was 60% because I had no inventory purchase this month and I've been coding it directly because I do an open close at the end of the year for tax purposes, all of a sudden I can't give this client any advice about moving forward. Yeah? And that's why. So they're
it seems
eventually.
to me the way you would do it is to talk to the client purely on a management basis and forget tax. So look, tax will come through at the end. Let's just focus on make the revenue, manage your costs, look at your GP, look at the bottom line. You're getting 10 cents on the dollar on the turnover, you're getting 20 cents, and why, and where,
Correct.
and how. And that's the fun part of accounting.
Yes, it is the fun part. It's the fun part.
It is.
Fun.
That's why I keep doing it.
Because tax is super fun. You crazy people. That's nice. That's all really nice. Who and whose army is going to do all of this stuff,
Yeah, true. It's an issue.
right? Because you've got all heaps of time, right, to go and run out of the room, be inspired by the fruit salad, and go and sell advisory. Go and like
You're not doing your job.
save all the businesses.
No, well, if you're not doing it, you're not doing your job, frankly.
Yeah, well, I think so. But again, I have the business owners come to me and they're like, why didn't my accountant tell me that? Because they don't understand that accounting is so many things.
Absolutely.
And it's not all things to all accountants. Right? And if you just love doing tax returns, that's cool. I love you so much because I don't. Right?
But did you ask the client, are you willing to pay for those advices?
Correct.
People will always pay for what they perceive to be valuable.
Yes.
Always.
But then when they talk to the accountant, they don't convey
Then
that
they
to you.
don't see the
No,
value.
they don't.
They don't.
And
Right? Unless then, when you tell them that they have to, because I in my experience, I think in one of my positions, I hired as a cost accountant for a company because the bank forced them to hire a cost accountant.
That's a nice bank. That's a
Because
smart.
they-
It's actually a bloody smart
Yes.
bank. That's probably
Yes.
the smartest bank I ever heard of.
Forcibly hiring. Forcibly
Otherwise,
getting
Yeah.
they won't lend them the money.
Yeah, unless you get a cost account.
Yes.
Yeah, well, fair enough.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough too.
Yes,
So
but
here's
I
a
was
challenge.
hired because of
So
that.
your bank says you need to go and get a cost accountant,
Yes.
and then they go look up accountants, and all they find is accountants.
They have
So
no-
how-
It used to be they have financial accountant, management
Yeah.
accountant, and cost accountant.
But how hard is that for Joe Blow, business owner who's worked his ass off to build a $2 million business, right? He's got a team of 10 guys, he's maybe a tradie, and he's like going, but my accountant's great. Like, what's wrong with mine? Because it's just accounting. Right, and I think that's where we have to sort of be the leaders, right? So actually step into, coming full circle round to the hats, stepping into this leadership role and going, well, actually, if I'm going to be the technician, which is totally okay, have I really communicated that clearly to my customer? Because if you actually said, hey, Mr. Business Owner, Sally, whoever, hey Sally, I know that, you know, we've been working together a few years. I'd just like you to know that we're doing a tax return, and tax is really, really important. It's super important. Like, we absolutely have to be compliant. Compliance is one of the pillars of a profitable, sustainable business. I'd just really like you to know that it's actually only part of the equation, and that when we present your financial statements to you, that's very much a tax perspective. But we could also talk to you about how your business is performing into the future. It's absolutely no pressure. I don't need you to take those services on. I just want you to know that you're only getting part of the picture. What do you think Sally's going to say? She's like, well, what the hell's the other part of the picture? Like, you leave the door open, right?
I think it depends on how you run your practice.
Of course.
Right? My feeling is I'll give them an hour of my time and try and coax them into it and say, look, this is what we could do. Now, it's up to you. You want that, and we'll work out a fee for it on a monthly basis. We've got to get a fee, but we've got to get reasonable. The client needs your help, and you are the trusted advisor. So take it that extra step of the way and support your client, because I'm telling you now, they'll refer you to someone else.
Of course.
That's a big plus. So, but again, I come back to the position, and I'm going to throw a real pigeon in the works at the moment, or cat amongst the pigeons. Yep. We're now told, thank you very much to all the idiots that have come up with this, we've got to go to a small business now, and I'm not sure if you're aware, and talk about, you know what I'm going to mention? ESG. You know
Yep.
what ESG is? Tell me. No?
What we can and can't do, and whether or not we are able to provide you with services. And
yeah, but for a small business, am I going to go and talk to them about environment, social, governance, and oh, by the way, I can do all that because I have to do that now because it came in on January 1 for big firms, and you're supplying Woolworths, and Woolworths are now saying to you, if you want to keep supplying us, we want to see your ESG set. Well, what the freaking hell is that? Oh, look, it's fantastic. It'll take 10 grand off your bottom line because you're going to give it to me. and it's going to be fantastic. You're going to look like a rosy little person. It is bullshit. And I told my people in Jakarta last year when a girl got up from our Amsterdam office, gave me all this, and I stood up and said, listen, hang on, who came up with all this crap? Oh, but you'll be able to sell it to your clients. You go and sell it. You go and sell it. Show me how you can sell it. Because all I'm doing is adding to their cost line.
But if I could, yes you are, but guess what? If they don't do it,
They won't have
Woolworths
business.
is not going to give them any
Precisely.
business, and they ain't going to have a business. And it's that black and white, and
It's a
that's
tough
what
one.
they need to hear. Not this rubbish.
No.
You either do this or you ain't got the Woolworths business. It's that simple.
I know,
Black and white.
It's terrible.
But it's just
terrible.
another stick to beat small business with, right?
Yeah.
And small businesses get beat up every day.
Absolutely.
And they get it on every side and from every angle with every stick.
Small
even
business,
even the Fair Work Ombudsman ruled that what's her face from the Philippines is a national system employee, and fair enough, the law hasn't changed. It's just been made very apparent that
Precisely
offshore
what I'm
workers.
looking at right now. Spot on.
Offshore workers are
Yeah.
national system employees, the same as any other individual contractor. That's fantastic.
Oh.
You think, I'm shitting myself, I've got Vietnamese and Filipino teams.
Exactly.
So, here's the thing, this is not an enterprise problem, it is not a micro business problem, it is a small business problem. Micro business problems have agencies, enterprise have either entities or employer of record services. It's small business who realise the agencies are treating their people like shit. They take them out of the agencies, directly contract them, pay them better, treat them better, and now they're getting screwed again. It's always a small business problem. But that's why I advocate for small business. Because they get beat up every way, in every turn, like at every angle.
But we forget the word small. We look at small businesses and say, big rules and regulation.
100%.
You cannot do it. They cannot do it. They cannot afford it. They cannot pay it. And they don't want to do it. They just want to do what they do well. And sure, there are rules and regulations.
For everybody.
Yeah,
But it is unreasonably applied
Very
to small business,
Very
in my opinion.
very unreasonable.
So,
Yeah, sorry.
in all your spare time, which you probably...
You hear that, Simon?
I literally have nothing to do.
Well,
Simon, I can solve that problem for you.
happy financial year.
Yeah. So in all your spare time, there are ways that you can engage with business on a real basis, as discussed and defined earlier by the unicorn, without actually having to sit down and prepare monthly sets of management accounts, etc., etc. So one of the easiest ways is to lean on your partnerships. Go and find a really good payroll services provider and then refer them to your clients. Go and find a white label service provider and bring them into your practice and just offer those services through a white label. There's actually plenty out there. If you're working with a really good BAS agent, and there are plenty of really good BAS agents around who can learn how to prepare really good sets of management accounts, talk to them. Give them an EOM checklist. Build an EOM checklist that is standardised for your practice, that is the way you want to see it. And then send it to them. Say, hey, every month I want you to do this, and give it to the client. So start actually just those template baselines. You're not doing the work except a little bit of investment in deciding how you want to communicate that. And that's just a way you can start to be more real and get more traction and show more value and start to have those conversations with your small business clients. Even consider bringing financial operations in-house if you have that level of practice. You might, a lot of BAS agents are really struggling at the moment. You might do a bit of an M&A, say, hey, bring your clients, bring your practice in-house, I'll employ you, you set up a financial operations arm of my practice for me. Because an 90k salary, 80k salary for a BAS agent at the moment might be really attractive. They're bringing their clients in to kickstart a FinOps branch for you. So there's ways you can lean into partnerships. And you know, if you've got bookkeepers working for your clients, set them KPIs. And if that highlights that they perhaps don't have the skill sets that are required, well,
Get rid of them.
oops. That's a shame, isn't it? And then you can actually refer that client to maybe your partners who are working really well with you, who communicate really well with you. So lean into those partnerships. They can actually be really effective and they can actually be really valuable. I work with several other accounting firms. I do not love tax, you may have got that. So I have partner accounting firms who do the tax that I do not want to do. We do tax for our closely helds, pretty much. That's why I got the tax bit tacked on, right? My passion is financial operations, business process design, and managing balance sheets, right? And then people kept going, can you do my tax return? I'm like, not really. Can you do my tax return? All right, so we tacked that on. It's not my passion. And if it gets complex or it gets offshore or if it gets like mucky groundy bits and div 86 and then it goes to my partners, okay? Because it's not what I love and it's not what I want to be wasting time on, particularly not what I build a QMS for. How's everyone going with that, by the way? All sweet? Awesome. And then there's technology. So you can utilize technology to help make some of this stuff. And we just had a great big chat about using a sophisticated payroll platform to take the burden away from accruing leave liabilities. Because if you didn't actually have to do anything, you'd have it on the balance sheet, right? Even though you don't have to. But if it was there anyway, would you argue?
No,
Of course not.
no. If it's
So-
automated and it happens every day,
Well,
what
of
the
course.
heck?
So, but you can. It's there. The
Yeah.
technology's there. It's really cheap. It shits all over Xero payroll. Like, it shits all over it. It is a better employee experience. It is far less risky. Right? By far less risky. Yes, you need an absolutely skilled payroll operator to implement, but there are people you can get to do that. You can get people to come in and teach your practice how to do that. Does anyone actually like doing payroll?
I hate
I'd
it.
imagine not.
Hate it. It's so complex, and let me tell you, it's fraught with danger if you don't get it right.
Hell yes,
You know?
I love payroll, but I love it because I can make such a big impact with it immediately. I can reduce costs immediately. I can actually improve data immediately. I can reduce friction immediately. That's why I love payroll. Payroll legislation, on the other hand, shit show, right? But I can do so much good with payroll. I can fix profit statements with payroll. I can, with the good payroll, we can automatically split. We can get job codes automatically, assigned across ledgers. There's so much we can do. So that's why I love it. You can use dashboards. So if you've actually coached a client into really good financial reporting and management, then you can actually start picking KPIs out of that and throwing it up on dashboards. So you've always got eyes on. And if it goes red, like managing traffic lights, orange, green, red, if it's red, you ring them up. Is everything that's all fine? And then you look like a hero without doing any work. So it's the whole of technology that you can access, utilize, implement that actually also helps you get real and give advice without actually giving advice, which is what we like. It's doing more with less. Who's using LLMs in their practice already?
Talking AI.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Who's
But not so much in the accounting area, but more so in preparing various documents for clients.
Yeah,
trying
who's-
to explain things to them.
Yeah, absolutely. Who's not using LLMs? An LLM of some description. So large language model. So that's a Gemini or a Copilot or a GPT or an agent. Has anyone got agents in their practice yet?
I'm looking at it.
Yep, Pete's looking at it.
I went to seminars where these guys in the city are doing unbelievable stuff with it.
Yeah, it's cool, hey?
But the problem I have, and I tried to raise with them, is they have an enclosed environment, right? Because of security.
Yeah.
You've got to be really careful
Yep.
with security. But as they showed me, to onboard someone, the system will go outside the system to ASIC or to somewhere else to get data. And I said to them, well, as soon as you go out, aren't you exposed to security risk? Qantas like today? You know? I mean, let's face it, we are small bickies in the system. I can only be so secure.
Yeah.
If Qantas can't do it, how the hell am I going to do it?
But you can't.
Oh,
You just
they
rely
didn't do
on
it,
being a
it's their
small
third
biscuit,
party
don't you?
person, but, you know.
Yeah, 100%.
So, yeah, look, just be aware of that. That's really critical, security.
100%.
Yeah.
How many people still have their clients emailing them like employee documents? Yeah,
It's a
right.
pain in the butt.
And tax file numbers
Yeah.
by email. Like, email is actually a scourge on the environment. We probably have 1 to 2 email fraud attempts every month.
Really?
In my client environment. We've currently got over $1 million of email fraud in my client base. And this is not a fault of my practice. This is a just either middleman attack or clients not securing their email environment. But email is horrendous risk.
But we're all using email.
Yeah,
So what's the
of course.
solution?
Yeah.
Don't
What's
use
it-
email.
Well,
We disallow email.
Then how do you communicate?
So email is
No,
not.
hang on.
So no. My policy, my professional services firm policy, practice
Yeah.
policy is
Yeah.
email is not communication.
Okay.
It is information exchange, only once. So email out, email back is no more communication. It's a phone call. Any document exchange is through a secure link. You've still got to get clients to freaking do that. There's a whole other basket. But our team are pretty good. You know, we beat it into our clients when they onboard, like with sticks.
I keep on telling my clients
Yeah.
the same thing.
Yeah.
I said, pass me information, yes,
all
okay.
payroll onboarding is done via the app, so that's all in a secure environment. All document exchange is via our ClickUp environment, so it's again a secure environment. And we're pretty clear when clients, when they onboard now, no email, anything, no the email.
So how do you do proof of identity of a client if you have to go
Anitra.
through POI? Sorry?
Anature.
What was that?
Our signature software is
Oh.
Anature. They
Oh.
have a POI.
Okay, and that's done securely end to
Yes,
end, is it?
end-to-end secure. So it's again all the technology that supports that. Guys, the zero, I don't know about MYOB, I actually only have a zero-only practice. So I'm rusty. I assume MYOB has book and tax depreciation run simultaneously.
Oh yeah, they all do.
So zero does too. It's just as easy to set up. Lean on your partners. Hey, here's your book depreciation schedule. Here's your tax depreciation schedule. Run it every month, please.
We normally try to run the taxes book and just have it the same. What the heck? You know, at the end of the day, it's still depreciation. I know it's an adjustment, but
Yeah. So this is when we're getting into those clients who are seeing the value in looking forward, and you go, well, I can't look forward if I don't know what your OPEX is. I can't tell you what your OPEX is if I wibbly wobbly timey wimey every month. And so this is when we have those conversations. And is there anything there that you'd like to discuss that I've missed?
No, I just get so worried. You talk about all these emails.
Okay, go for it.
Like, I mean, for me, like, I'm just a single person. How do I protect that security? When you talk
Okay.
about email, people email back
Sure.
and forward. I always tell my client, do not send me the tax file number and your date of birth in the same email.
Okay.
So they can send me a tax file number and text me the date of birth later on.
Yep, must never, ever, ever, ever,
No.
ever, 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 ever,
Do it
ever,
the same
ever,
time,
ever,
yeah.
ever, 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 ever transmit a TFN via email in
No.
any context.
Yeah.
Ever, 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 ever,
No.
ever, ever.
is it, tell me this, is it illegal?
No, but it's stupid.
That's what they say. No, they all say,
With big love.
yeah, no,
Um,
what they say is email is not secure.
Email is not secure. I had a stand-up argument in one of the advisory boards. Oh my god, there's this idiot going, but it's encrypted. It's not fucking encrypted. It is not. I
But
also
how,
have.
how do you transmit the text file number?
You can't.
You can encrypt
They
your
just have to
emails.
call.
No, you cannot. So I also have an ICT company, information like a tech company, just in one of my other
Yeah,
pastimes because I'm an idiot. In my spare time. So you
You call them
can't.
up?
You can only encrypt something that has an end-to-end endpoint. So VPN can be encrypted. You can say your email is encrypted, but it's still subject to middleman attack.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's still subject to middleman attack.
But they have to be able to decrypt that because, so say for example, we consider this within the business, right?
Yeah.
But the cost of actual email encryption is extraordinary.
Extraordinary. You can't afford it.
So you're just better off. And if I get my tech partner to come in and she'll go la 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 la, and then I'll go yeah, but the end is the email is not secure. So I run with the line, email is not secure, and it's hard. To your point, yes, it can be made secure, but it's incredibly difficult to do. It is well beyond the skills of any of us. Well beyond the skills of any of us to do so.
It is a service off the shelf, yeah.
You just
So
don't
we
use.
just come to their house, their place, their office, get that text file number.
You use and this is a problem with the CAL, right?
Yeah.
Because we've gone round and round in circles with the
Oh,
ATO of how do we
yeah.
get the tax file number? Because to use CAL, we have to go to the portal and put the tax file
Yeah,
number in.
correct.
How do we get it in the first place? It has to be over the phone. I would then argue that phone is also not secure.
Exactly.
But so there are secure end-to-end messaging services like Signal is an encrypted messaging service. But
What about
email,
SMS? No?
SMS, God no.
SMS is very.
Definitely not secure.
What about splitting the tax file number in 2 sections? Two
Yeah, that's-
separate
that's a
SMSs?
no.
Or maybe one by email, one by SMS?
It's showing reasonable care. Tax file numbers you would just never transmit via email. We do often have a phone call, or we do it via a secure FTP. So here's your link. Please upload this to our secure environment, which is all 2-factor authenticated. We get it from there.
What's the tax office do?
They
I
have
think we
their
did tie. I
portal.
think
So
we tied.
Practice Mail, for example, Practice Mail, the business OSFA, that's all secured.
No, it's
That's
not.
what they use.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
The more you hear about
Sorry.
this and you don't want to.
I don't agree with you. It's not secure, and I got proof to prove it. They
Os-
sent me a document.
OSFA.
No, they sent me a document to Peter Polgar, Practice Mail, and guess what the document was? It wasn't a request for payment arrangement. When I clicked on the PDF, guess what the document was?
What?
Private and confidential from the ATO. Really? Yeah. But to whom? Not my client.
So they sent this to your email
Jetstar.
or to Practice
To
Mail?
Jetstar,
Yeah.
Practice Mail.
Yeah.
I got a letter, private and confidential, from the
I
ATO
did
for
that.
another tax
Yeah,
client,
that too. Yeah.
and I've got proof of it.
Yeah.
Great. If you send it to CPA?
No, with what would they do with it, idiots? I'm telling you.
It is recorded.
That is why we love you, Pete.
No. Let me tell you the truth. Let me tell you the truth. I sent it to the ATO, to my senior support to one of the commissioners. You know what? I said, oh, by the way, this is what I got in the secure portal mail. And you know what? Never heard another word.
Yeah, not surprised.
So, you know what?
Send it to me, I'll bring it up at a Basso.
I'll send it to you, but it won't have any detail on it, but I'll send it to you. But it's proof. I've got proof that they are bullshit. Don't tell me it's not secure or it is secure. Nothing's secure. Nothing.
Okay, so to take Pete's point, nothing is secure.
So,
At an esoteric level, he's right.
I'm
He's correct.
absolutely right. Have a look. Have a look. Amazon, everyone's getting scammed.
Yeah.
And I agree. I think
You can only do your
to
best.
protect ourselves, I just avoid it.
Correct.
My professional services firm, the policy is we avoid email. Email, yes, we might communicate like set calendar appointments, not critical communication or information exchange per our policy is email. We might have a phone call and then follow up with email notes because that is actually also important to have everything in writing, which we know. But it's not a form of communication, and it's certainly anything that is personally identifiable.
Yeah.
A bank statement, a license, anything like that. Anything that is personally identifiable next to the email.
Yeah.
So then how do you do it? Mail?
So we
Courier?
use
Express post?
No.
we use
Come on
we
to see
use a
that.
practice management platform. We use ClickUp. You might use XPM or whatever it is you use. So we send our clients a link. They click the link. They upload the document to there. That comes through to us. For anyone to get that document, they have to be able to log in with 2-factor authentication to our environment. So we secure our entire environment with an enterprise password manager.
Look,
Which
all
is
that
all
tax
two-factor.
software allows you to remove the TFN and send it electronically,
Yes.
through the portal and everything, it's secure.
We're still trying to get the
But that's all,
ATO to
really.
automatically redact tax file numbers from anything that's downloaded. I wish they would. It would be such an easy solution.
There's an easier solution. I tried to tell them, they won't bloody listen. Why? I mean, let's face it. They write to me, Dear John, you sold the property. Oh, who the hell's John? I got about 50. Now hang on. Why can't they put the last 4 digits of the TFN? Last 4 digits of the TFN. Just like when you go to a restaurant. And,
Well, it's the last 4 digits of your credit card.
and then you'll be able to find the John.
I don't disagree.
But why
I do
don't
not
they do it, for Christ's sake?
Because it's very
Maybe you
difficult
can
to work
convince them.
with their systems. They're very old. To be fair, they are dinosaurs.
Unbelievable.
So, I will sort of, before we get into the really fun stuff, which is going to take 90 seconds, because the whole point is that it takes 90 seconds, I will sort of leave you with if the magical fairy took tax returns away from you tomorrow, what would you do with your business
Retire.
clients? I'm not in a disagreement with that strategy. I don't think this is a bad plan at all.
So do you honestly believe that can happen? Can I ask you seriously, do you think that can happen?
No.
Not in the next little while, but what's his face before he retired was
Yeah,
talking
Chris
about
Jordan
2030.
said- Yeah,
Chris.
It'll just happen bullshit.
No, it's real.
No.
No,
Well, you, like
It's
you think
real.
about
Correct.
Like our
a
account.
newcomer.
That's a unicorn.
Sorry,
Unicorns are real.
it can happen.
Sorry, I was just like, so you know, like, I actually know someone who buy a partial fees from like HR Block the last 3 years, but they're not getting the money back now because in the last 2 years, they got all this MyGov. Say my son, you know, he started to go to work. What he does, he go to MyGov, he do it. So he no longer going to, you know, all these HR Block to get the tax return done. So these people buying for nothing now.
Yeah, wow.
So eventually, they're just like all the new kids, like they all growing up here. They just got tick tick tick, and all the money got filled up in. You
Yeah.
know, and then
So,
Yeah, as long as it's a simple tax return.
it is a simple tax
So-
return.
Yeah.
to answer your question honestly, no, I don't think compliance will disappear in the next little while, but I think it will. I think as we get our new generation of kids
That's
coming
right.
through who are AI natives, I don't think they're going to be going to accountants for tax advice, not to process compliance, right? Not even to an extent strategic tax advice. Sure, there's always going to be complex stuff that'll be specialist, right? But I'm not talking about your 1 to 10 mil. Not
They
the
will
1 to
go
10.
to the bigger firm
Yeah.
where they got all these people to give them strategically, or you know,
Correct.
all these advice.
I agree.
But not small tax return, and then all that one because they start to go into MyGov and they get it done. That's
Yeah.
it.
And so, no, I don't think in the short term, because our legislation is incredibly complex.
You hit it
And
on the
there's,
head.
but there will be law change, and I think even with even GPT is getting very, very good at navigating complexities of Div 86. It helped me yesterday or the day before or whatever that was. I'm a little bit like so.
Make the tax system, make the tax system simple, and you'll be able to do anything.
Sure. So I think it will, and I think it'll come faster than you think.
Then how do we tell the young kids to come on to be accountants? What are we going to say to them?
Oh, I think that's a whole other basket of
Tell me about
problem,
it.
right?
Tell me about it.
So, you know, where's the value if we're only focused on compliance and tax? Which is why I encourage you to start thinking of where you're communicating the value. And this is not about being right or wrong or choosing whether you like tax or advisory. When I say advisory, business services and advisory, it's just having a think about what would happen if. And that's the sad tax and the happy unicorn. I did, this is GPT by the way, I had so much fun doing this the other day. So, this is my favourite slide and a whole lot of my, this gets a giggle out of the room. Because what we see I see when my business owners go to the accountants, they go, oh, I need to know what's happening for the next 18 months and I need a forecast. And the accountant goes, let's do a budget. And I think they are a piece of shit. It's a lot of work to do a very good budget. It's a lot of work to do a really good three-way forecast.
There's software that do that now.
I don't think it does a good job of it
Depends on the software.
because your ledgers actually don't understand cash. Xero certainly doesn't understand cash. It thinks that actually spending money on a credit card is a cash transaction, which is bullshit. It's not. Paying the credit card is a cash transaction, which it doesn't record as a cash transaction. Right, so your software doesn't understand cash and cash movements. It also defaults all manual journals to a cash basis, which is crap. So I don't think the software that sucks stuff out of your ledger is any good at three-way forecasting. You have to work really hard to get it to be really good.
What do you call it, three-way or?
Three-way forecasting, so balance sheet, P&L and cash.
Well, it's not difficult. What do you get from the different statement? What are you going to show?
Yeah. Cool. Look at it, it's a little hack. This is what I got from the Profit First book. The only really good thing I got it. It's called Minimum Viable Profit. This comes from my presentation on 30-second advisory, right?
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a cheaty hack thing, which I'm going to kind of do with my back turned to you. So please bear with me. This is a little bit of a setup. Right. Is that big enough
Maybe
A bit bigger.
bit bigger.
for the old man eyes in the
Yeah.
back?
Yep.
That's good.
Yep. Hey. Cool. So it's a spreadsheet. It's not fancy. Okay. And it's what I call MVP. And before you all have a little accounting stroke, all right, MVP is a quick and easy tool. It is a low input, high value output. So you can do it in 30 seconds. It is not technically correct. It is materially correct, okay? All right. MVP, minimum viable profit, is calculated when you add up your non-operating cash flows. You shove in an allowance for owner returns, like risk money. You make sure that you make up to market salary. So your business owner, if they're not drawing a market salary out of their business, they may as well go and get a haircut and a real job, right? So we shove that in there, and then we make an allowance for tax. So add all of that up, allow for tax somewhere. I just use the company tax rate. If you've got a super funky trust structure going on, someone pays a tax somewhere. Allow for that. You've got to pay tax out of profit, right? And try not to have a stroke about how it's not technically correct. It rounds around,
What
right?
you're saying here is break-even analysis.
Break
In a
even.
sense, in a
Break
sense.
even is the most dangerous fucking word ever accountants like.
It is true.
Then why the numbers are
I
saying?
agree.
Right? Break even, you can go broke into liquidation, breaking even. If your non-operating cash flows are more than your profit position, you will go broke every time. This is what gets business owners over the line. It's super simple. Down the left side, add up all of that stuff, non-operating cash flow. What's that? That's your loan repayments. That's anything you're drawing out of the business that you're not reporting as a wage. Right? Oh, right. Plus, we need to add in anything that you're not already currently, earning, and then a return on top of that, because business is risky. Criminal risk, personal risk, liability. We get to a minimum profit. If you're not making this profit in your business every month, go get a haircut and a real job. And you can play with the numbers. You can soften them up if we're just in a startup mode, whatever. So go across to the right-hand side. Then you've got your core metrics. It's a cruel world. We need to know what these are. So if you go, I know what profit I have to make, I'm going to shove my operating expenses in, I'm going to put my gross profit margin in, and I do some high school math, and I calculate my revenue target. And I go up the right-hand side. This is the profit-first approach, which is why I love that book and hate it at the same time, right? And so I can go to a business owner and I can show them what a 1% difference or a 1% improvement in their gross margin is. I'll do that just for fun. Yeah. So if we go, okay, Mr. Business Owner, what happens if you do a 30% GP? Oh, look, you need to just do less revenue. That's awesome. And they go, oh, wow. Or they'll turn around and go, I cannot do that much revenue every month. I don't have enough team for that. You go, okay, well, that's cool. So if we actually put on another team member, could you then do that much revenue every month?
Questionable.
And they go, oh yeah, maybe we could.
Hmm.
And so you just start playing with the numbers. So this is not a three-way forecast, nor is it a budget, but it is a super fast, super understandable way to talk to a business owner about their core metrics. Operating expenses, gross profit margin, profit required to run this business successfully. This is when we start building business assets, because this protects my balance sheet. Yeah? And it's a simple, like, 6-cell spreadsheet. And they can take it home with them. Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, why has one half got tax and the other half ignores tax?
Because once you've paid tax out of your profit, we've got enough profit to pay tax. This is for business owners. So we've accounted for tax in the profit we need to make. Well, it's blinded myself. I avoided the whole presentation. I will send you guys all of this. You can have the spreadsheet. So it's all cool, right? It's not like my IP or anything. It's an 8-cell spreadsheet with high school math in it, right? But it's super simple and it's super digestible, and yes, it's technically not correct, but it is materially correct, right? It gets the point across. We've added up all the non-operating cash flow. We've given them their market salary. We've accounted for a bit of owner returns after that, and then we've paid tax. So in that profit figure, minimum viable profit, I've already accounted for tax I have to pay. And so I have to hit that profit target for my business to be worthwhile. So to do that, considering what OPEX I have, considering my gross, it's technically a contribution margin. I'd only ever run contribution margins for small business, which is not technically gross profit, but it's close enough, all intents and purposes, right? I know what I can calculate my revenue target. Your small business clients don't do this. They guess revenue targets and they budget top down. This is 30 seconds work, literally 30 seconds. If you're having a bad day, maybe it's 90 seconds. This is literally 90 seconds work, and it is mind-blowing to business owners. Mind-blowing. I've had business owners in tears over this, and I've had them going, oh my God, wow, I can see over this. It is the simplest little model. Take it, use it, make a difference with it. But this is looking forward because I got the numbers good enough to have a good idea what every month is. Operating expenses do not vary month to month. It costs you the same amount to keep that door open. They don't. Right, so if we just do a little bit of accruing, make sure we've got real numbers. If we get them to put an inventory management system in so they know what their margins are, right? This is so easy and so real and makes such a big difference. And it's a throwaway piece of work. Nobody can tell me they don't have time for this. I'll give it to you. You don't even have to think about it. This is what makes a difference to a business owner. After all my fruit salad talk. So, I'll end it there for tonight. I've gabbed on quite a lot. I hope I haven't sort of been trying to shove stuff down your throat that you already know. But I'm really, really passionate about small business. I love small business owners. I love the stories. And I get really sort of sad every time I hear, why hasn't my accountant told me this? Because it's not that you don't know, you do. We're not having the conversations. Because in all of our spare time, we're doing tax returns. Well, you are, I'm not. But that's okay. I've got a different hill to put my flag on. So, has anyone got any comments, questions, thoughts? More fruit salad? Has anyone taken anything particularly away? I feel like, where's Pete? Pete! You've left me.
Yeah, I'm in business, and our accountants have always done management accounting, didn't they?
Thanks, Jonathan. Thank you. Oh, wine, see. Quality control purposes only.
Sorry, the
Thank you.
No, they just adapted then to tax. But the management accounts are here and the tax adjustments.
So, I always thought it was normal that you just did a tax rec. Right, that was...
From the management account.
Yeah, you got given a set of management accounts and then you did a tax rec.
Yeah.
So I kept getting these detailed, we always ask for a DTB, a detailed trial balance, he'd get them back and I'd be like, what the fuck's that? That's not what I gave you. And I'm like, where was... So it just... And then I have a really good friend of mine, Rachel, she's a very, very experienced, very well-known international CFO. I was like, what do you guys learn in accounting school? I was having a bit, there was wine involved in that conversation. You'd be surprised to know. And she's like, we don't learn this. We learn international accounting standards, so transfer pricing, and I was like, what now? I said, okay, way above my pay grade. So yeah, but that's cool. I don't do that shit. I'm 1 to 10 mil business. I'm managing my balance sheet. I'm like, she said, yeah, we don't really do a lot of that in accounting school, uni. I was like, that starts to make a lot of sense now. And it's actually only in recent years that I put this, I've really got it. Like I got that it's not accountants, and it's not business owners. There's just no communication happening in the middle here. And so I'm trying to fix that at both ends as best I can. Anyone else?
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Hit me up if you think I've got a screw loose. Throw a spanner at me. Come on.